Primary, secondary, overlaid, and portal worlds. These are the major ways that fantasy worlds come into existence, or the way that we make them, and it's good to know all four of them. Primary world is the real world as we know it. This is a term coined by Tolkien way back when he started his lectures on world building in, I think, the 1930s, even before Lord of the Rings. The primary world, again, is the real world, and as Tolkien and Jemison both point out, we use our understanding of the real world to judge the veracity of secondary worlds. Secondary worlds are also constructed worlds, are the worlds that we make up. All the other genres get to use the real world, but fantasy and sci-fi are the only ones that use secondary worlds, which is a creative world that we make up to examine what we're looking for in the story. That we use fantasy conceits to do that, and that's what we explore in our secondary world, which is, your Middle Earth, your Westeros, Narnia, that type of thing. All the big names are usually secondary world. But you can have overlaid worlds. These are worlds that are the real world that has fantasy elements added to it, possibly taken away, but mostly added. And it's your Harry Potter. All the Marvel movies are overlaid. The Sookie Stackhouse stories, anything that happens in the modern world is a overlaid world. Usually they employ masquerades, which is taken from the old role-playing game system. White Wolf, I don't remember what it's called now, World of Darkness, I think, which just means that all the magic is hidden from the mundane people who walk around and have no idea of all the magic and strange things happening around them. But they don't always have to have a masquerade. The True Blood is the premise is that the vampires have come forward, and that's the core concept for the show and the series. Portal is the name denotes is moving from one world to another. Usually it's from the primary world to a secondary world, or it could be an overlaid world to a secondary world. Sometimes it's a primary world to a primary world, which the old-timey ones, which were hidden worlds where they would find a hidden jungle in Antarctica or something like that, or the Hollow Earth, which would be a portal when they leave the real world and go to a secondary world. Narnia is probably the best known of the portal worlds, where there's literal portals they step through, but you can also have non-portal portals like Wizard of Oz, which is another one where she moves from the primary world to the secondary world. Again, you don't have to move from the primary world to the secondary world. You can move from the secondary world to the secondary world. Emil Spencer, who was lucky enough to see last night, her Dragon Mage series is moving from the secondary world to the secondary world through a portal. Worth looking up is Timothy Hickson's Worldbuilding book. He's also known as Hello Future Me. He has a lot of good notes on what to do about portals and how to move between them and how to keep the secret world secret. So there you go, primary, secondary, overlaid, and portal worlds. I hope that they aid you in your world building.